For this presentation, we are actually returning back to the European dimension, and here with us is Mr. Aleš Dobnikar. He's the head of international relations sector at the Ministry for Public Administration. And Mr. Dobnikar, please, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you very much, Gina. Well, it's a great honor, I have to say, that to be there. First of all, from the fact that it's the first seminar and it's close to the end, so definitely, as I heard just before, there's a reason, very quick and so on, još malo i kraj. Therefore, I do not want to talk much about the European dimension and so on, maybe just to stress major points which are, by our opinion, very important. It's built, and nevertheless, I'm sure that in these 2 or 3 days of the meeting, you have got a lot of information about the information society, about the development in the region. You have got an opportunity to hear everything about very successful stories, about successful projects, and so on. And of course, we are part of Europe. So, talking about the European dimension, we are talking about our dimension, about our area, and so on. So, as I said, regarding the topic, I will be very brief. Secondly, what is really give me a feeling to have very pleasant thing here is that we start, and we are close to the end, as I said, with the first seminar of our new center. As you know, the Slovenian government was an initiator for establishing the center, and we are glad and all the best of the team. Also, we're glad that he organized, and the team actually, they organized this meeting, and I just hope that this year we will just go quickly and rapidly ahead with the programs to fulfill our basic missions and goals when we started with the center. But maybe nevertheless, just some words about the information society. Well, in principle, I'm sure that probably all of you know about the Lisbon strategy, what actually it is. It's a pity nowadays, and especially in the forthcoming months, or I could say years, which are not very economically pleasant, to talk about growth, but definitely the Lisbon strategy started and was adopted in year 2000. And talking about the growth, talking about globalization, and so on, it's a temporary goal of everybody, not just in the European Union. Definitely, if you are talking about the introduction of the information communication technologies, we know that there is a big impact, and somehow I could say that information communication technologies pave the way forward to enhance productivity, for growth, for new markets. It's also driven by normally for research and innovation, and with the overall goal to improve businesses, to improve our lives, to improve our communication between governments on one side, businesses on the other, and citizens on the third side. And normally to increase the efficiency, effectiveness, openness in public administration, and also to drill ahead, increasing the democracy in general. Well, maybe some facts, some statistical data. In Europe, ICT somehow brings 40% to productivity growth, and also percentage 25% to GDP. That means it is definitely a domain with a very huge impact into the growth, both at the national and at the same time also in the European or the wider level. Thus, some other data. For example, in Denmark. Denmark introduced invoices 2 or 3 years ago. Actually, 3 years ago. Denmark is just actually doubled than Slovenia in population. And if you just make this comparison between savings, we can see that how much with just one product, moving from a classical approach to the electronic, how much savings could be achieved. Maybe Estonia, 65% electronically filled tax declaration, also a lot of hours and so on and so on. Also Slovenia introduced the income taxes, the fulfillment in the electronic form in 2003. Normally that, you know, this time from 2003 till now, also some processes have been changed. And nowadays, I would say that just for the last year, we do not fulfill anymore the income taxes manually, neither in the electronic, neither in the classical form. That means that we just changed the process, which is the most important thing. I will stress this at the end of my presentation. That we changed this process that our tax administration just sent you the calculation for your income taxes with the sum at the end, how much you will repay or how much you will get back. And definitely, it's the biggest output of this, that we do not bother people anymore with the fulfillment of such forms, neither in the electronic, as I said, neither in the classical way. This example just somehow shows what I wish at the end to say, that modern information communication technologies are just a tool, a necessary tool, a very important tool, but it's just a tool. The most important issue there is definitely the processes behind it. Very often I said, it's almost an axiom, I repeated it so many times, that electronic government is more about government than about electronic. Simpler to say. If you have a bad process, if you have an unnecessary service, you just transform it into the electronic form. You couldn't get anything else that bad or unnecessary electronic service, nothing else. That means the reduction of burden, elimination of unnecessary steps in the process is definitely the first and very important thing we should be achieved, and just then transform it into the electronic form. Normally, Europe is not the best. Also some other good examples in the world, for example, Canada, Singapore, also South Korea, and so on. But more or less, we are talking about it. We are based on the same infrastructure, and definitely these differences are not so huge. Well, about the I-2010 initiative, I don't want to spend so much time. We are now 2009, and of course, there is just less than 2 years left to the end. So we are now looking into 2015 and 2020, of course. But nevertheless, this initiative shows, which was adopted in the European Union normally, that we are looking for a single, I'm again in the European area, single information space market, although we know that there is global, we can't talk about the regional information market. We know that information communication technologies is actually the impetus for starting talks about the globalization. Then innovation in research and development definitely is a thing which is temporary present here in this field. And at the end, what is the goal? To increase the quality of life, to increase democracy, to simplify the life in general. Not just for the citizens, but also for the businesses.